Well, just days after U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter said the Iraqis don't have the will to fight, Iraqi forces are launching a major counteroffensive to take back Ramadi from ISIS, from the Islamic State. Joining me now via FaceTime from Washington is David Andrew Weinberg, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. He's a former advisor on Middle Eastern politics and U.S. policy to the U.S. House Committee on Foreign Affairs. Thanks for being on our program this morning.
Good morning.
So, if the Iraqi army hadn't been successful until now in fighting ISIS, how successful can this new offensive be? What will they be doing different this time?
Well, one of the challenges and part of why they crumbled in the first place was that ISIS gathered a terrifying array of firepower against them the other week. ISIS threw against them in 4 days roughly 30 suicide truck bombs with armored vehicles, including 10 of which approximately had the firepower of the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. So that's a real challenge, regardless of whether the Iraqis had really good esprit de corps and morale. That's enough to demoralize any force. The United States is providing thousands of new anti-tank missiles that will hopefully enable Iraqi forces to better withstand these sorts of truck bombs. But moving forward, there are some real challenges with how the Iraqi and militia forces are going to be addressing this threat, and some more reforms they need to make in order to have a more legitimate, more effective fighting force.
Well, there's little question Iraqis want to regain control of Ramadi, but I'm also wondering if this new offensive is a result of Ash Carter's criticism.
Well, his criticism was basically oriented around the fact that when the Iraqi military forces in the area crumbled, they actually had vast numerical superiority over the ISIS fighters whom they were facing. So the criticism was valid. The question is the Iraqi military and government prepared to take the sorts of steps that would make this counteroffensive different from the defensive efforts that they've been trying before? In particular, empowering Sunni National Guard fighters in the area so that way locals can represent themselves and have more of a stake in their defense, as well as employing control over the Iranian-backed Shiite militias that are playing a role in this fight but have perpetrated real human rights abuses in some of their past offensives.
Iraqi officials put some of the blame on the United States, and they said that the training wasn't there to train the Iraqi soldiers. Why didn't the training work?
Well, you know, there's actually quite a substantial amount of training that's going on with the Iraqi military right now, and that has been going on for approximately the last decade. So it's less a question of training than it is basically will to make serious reforms on the Iraqi side, as well as efforts that the international community could be taking that would be somewhat more effective. For instance, the United States has been reluctant to do what it seems Canada has been doing in the area, which is enabling using spotters on the ground to enable more effective airstrikes. And that's something that would be more constructive if the United States were to do in the future.
David Andrew Weinberg, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, thank you for your time today.